We will begin by reviewing plane figures, or those figures that lie in a plane. And we'll start with triangles. The first triangle we'll talk about is a right triangle. A right triangle has an angle that is right. A right triangle has a right angle which equals 90 degrees. The other two angles are acute. An acute angle is less than 90 degrees. An acute triangle has three angles that are acute. And an obtuse triangle, obtuse means greater than 90 degrees, has an obtuse angle. An obtuse triangle has an obtuse angle greater than 90 degrees and two acute angles, which are both less than 90 degrees. In a scalene triangle, we have no two sides are the same and no angles are the same. So, no sides or angles the same, or as we say, congruent when we're working with plane figures. So none of the sides and none of the angles are congruent. In an isosceles triangle, we have two congruent sides and two congruent angles. So, two congruent sides and two congruent angles. In an equilateral triangle, all three sides are congruent or the same, and all three angles are congruent. It's congruent. A little messy. All three sides are congruent. Okay. Now, let's deal with quadrilaterals. The first quadrilateral means we have four sides. Quad stands for four. And the first quadrilateral we'll talk about is the square that has four equal sides, or congruent sides, and four right angles, which are equal to 90 degrees each. The congruent sides are also parallel. With a rectangle, we have four right triangles, or four right angles, which equal 90 degrees each. And two opposite sides, for example, this side and this side, are parallel and congruent. And these two sides are also, these opposite sides are also parallel and congruent. With a rhombus, the opposite sides are congruent and parallel, but the angles are not right angles. right angles. A parallelogram has opposite sides that are parallel. Opposite sides are parallel. And are congruent. So opposite sides are parallel and congruent. But unlike a rectangle, the angles are not right angles. A trapezoid has just one set of parallel lines, so one set of opposite sides are parallel. That's about all you can say about a trapezoid, because their other opposite sides are not parallel, and none of the sides need to be congruent. A few other common polygons you want to be familiar with their names is the pentagon, which has 5 sides. A hexagon has 6 sides. And an octagon has 8 sides.